Thank you very much, Program Director. I must confirm that the invoice for her being a Program Director is not going to the Department of Higher Education and Training. So the kind words, which I really appreciate, are from her, and thank you very much for that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and let me firstly extend greetings to the Director of the Higher Education and Training, Ms. Susan van Aswagen, and also to the Managing Director of the Cape Media Corporation, Mr. Robert Arendse, and all the distinguished guests, including the Chief Executive Officer of the South African Graduate Development Association. And I'm also excited to be part of this summit again. Once more, I think I was part of the engagements that took place last year. Quite exciting. And part of the things which I asked Mr. Arendse earlier on is to what extent do we see an impact of these types of summit? And I think part of the reflections post-summit should include what we do with the big takeaways that we have from this summit. Now, in October last year, against the backdrop of low economic growth and a stubbornly high unemployment rate, our president chaired two very crucial summits. One of those was focusing on unemployment, and the other one was focusing on the need for investment in order to boost our economic growth. The investment conference was part of government's ambitious drive to raise about $100 billion worth of new investment over the next 5 years. And the president has indicated in further engagements that his ambition is to ensure that we match our national fiscus with the investment that we attract into the economy. The conjunction of these two summits came from the realization that job creation requires investment, but more importantly, which was a cut across theme in both summits, that we need skills. We need a skilled workforce. We need a competent workforce that will be ready to be absorbed upon the attraction of these investments. Now, more than 70 interventions to protect existing jobs and create new ones were identified, and they were informed by the need to address the pillars of South Africa's growth strategy. And this included ensuring sound and responsive government that prioritizes inclusive growth, investment promotion and the upgrading of industrial capacity, holistic support for township and rural enterprises, increased workplace equality, infrastructure development, maintaining and strengthening the social safety net, innovative measures to assist businesses facing challenges, and more importantly, upgrading skills and education. The commitments to increase access to employment includes education and skills intervention to build competencies needed for employment and self-employment, where TVET and community colleges play a crucial role. We will need a huge drive and commitment from both the private sector, civil society, and as we continue to play the central role as government to put our TVET college system at the center of our skills development agenda. In many instances, TVET colleges, particularly in the past, have been regarded as the Cinderella of our education system. With the investments that we have made, both in developing our human resource, focusing on lecturer development, focusing on infrastructure development, focusing also on the relevance of programs and curriculum transformation, we believe that we're placing our TVET colleges at the center of skills development. And this has also included partnership with other governments which have made a huge impact in their skills development needs using our TVET colleges. But also of crucial importance is the role that community colleges are going to be playing with regards to our skills needs and skills demand. But secondly, and as part of these commitments to increase access to employment, is the need to expand public and private sector skills commitment for youth employment, including capacity building, finding solutions to accelerate the transition of not in education, not in employment or training young people towards earning an income. And the drive that the Minister insists on, and government in the overall, is for our skills development programs to focus on this particular core of young people. Thirdly, assisting small businesses by leveraging procurement for small firms and cooperatives, large-scale youth entrepreneurship programs, and support to the informal sector. Now, I mention all of these because this Skills Development Summit takes place against the particular background of low economic growth and high unemployment. It also takes place against the background of the fourth industrial revolution and the march towards automation, digitization, and future skills. And I think we've seen the role that our president is playing globally in ensuring that we push for recognition for and preparation of, recognition of and preparation for the demand for future skills. The resultant impacts of the fourth industrial revolution will bear heavily on the future skills that we prepare for, as well as the displacement of current workers and how we retrain and reconnect them to the labor market. Part of the instructions that we've given to our sector education and training authorities is to look at the number of job losses that are occurring, be it in the agricultural sector, in the mining sector, in manufacturing, and in services, and how those are related with the redundancy of some of the skills, and ensuring that they invest the training and retraining of those workers and prepare them either for re-employment or for entrepreneurship programs. But what we are beginning to see is many of our TVET colleges in investing in some of the future skills program in order to respond to the demands for the fourth industrial revolution. Some of the centers that we have in the University of Johannesburg and also in the Wits University and in some of our TVET colleges, which are focusing on mechatronics, which are focusing on 3D printing, which are focusing on robotics, which are focusing on all of these new skills and in response to the demand for the fourth industrial revolution are of crucial importance if we are to guarantee employment of the skilled workforce that we introduce into the economy. The evaluation results help us to shape and inform the National Skills Development Strategy 4 and the National Skills Development Plan. The evaluation articulated many interesting truths about our entire skills development landscape. The Skills Development Levy brought in an income of about 63 billion over the period 2011 to 2016. Of the 63 billion received from 2011 to 2016, about 50 billion went to the SETAs, which over 12 billion went to the National Skills Fund. Now, these numbers will only mean zero if the output in terms of our skills production is of no significance. These numbers will also mean zero if the employment of those who come out from the training programs that we have, if the output in terms of those who graduate from our universities and from our TVET colleges remain unemployed or are not self-sufficient in the form of pursuing entrepreneurship or any form of self-sufficiency. Of the total available funds over the 5-year period, the SETA spent about 6.3 billion on administration costs, disbursed about 14.5 billion in mandatory grants and 20 billion in discretionary grants. In total, they made 31 billion rands worth of discretionary commitments between 2011 and 2016, while disbursing only 20 billion of these commitments, pointing to substantial underspending of available funds. And the idea that SETAs are essentially automated transaction machine should be a thing of the past. And this is one of the things that we are committed to ensure that it happens through the National Skills Development Strategy 4. During the period of the NSDS3, there were almost 1.1 million enrollments across different learning programs offered under the auspices of the 21 SETAs. And in addition, there were 330,000 learners who were funded by the National Skills Fund. That means that there were just over 1.4 beneficiaries of skills development systems funding between 2011-12 and 2015-16. And in terms of employment, the proportion of learners not being previously employed, was high in the case of apprenticeships, learnerships, and internships. However, unemployment continued to rise. And beyond all the other issues around the structural nature of unemployment, we believe that with all of this investment, we should be able to make some fruitful interventions. Employers believe that skills development has improved productivity, reduced errors in the workplace, and improved the quality of products or services delivered. Trade union representatives also agreed that this was the case, and that training has also increased the work readiness of young people entering the workplace. However, a majority of employers stated that skills development has not really achieved what they hoped for in terms of improving the supply of needed skills. This year, our minister promulgated the National Skills Development Plan 2030. The NSDS plan has been crafted in policy context of the National Development Plan and the White Paper on post-school education and training. The National Skills Development Plan proposes a multi-tiered approach to understanding and responding to the skills needs of our country. Firstly, determining skills at organizational level, understanding skills needs at the workplace, both in public and in private. And we identify the workplace as a crucial platform for our skills development program. I was asking the CEO of the South African Graduate Development Association earlier on and engaging with him around the number of young people who have not completed their qualification precisely because they cannot find workplace placement. And this is one of the crucial elements of our skills training. If we are going to be getting learners who are ready for employment, we have to ensure that there is commitment on the part of the private sector in particular to open up their workplaces and give more than 300 young people opportunities so that they are able to benefit from workplace integrated learning, achieve their qualification, and also become employed. We think that this is one of the crucial points as it relates to the National Skills Development Plan. Secondly, determining skills at sectoral level of occupations in high demand and priority occupations. Thirdly, determining skills at national level, which includes provincial and local levels of occupations in high demand and priority occupations. Gone should be the days when we have to import 2,000 welders into the country precisely because we do not have that skill. Gone should be the day when we cannot be able to find within our neighborhood a plumber, an electrician, a painter, a tiler, and all of these basic skills, because if we invest into producing all of these skills, we will be able to arm millions of young people who are not in education, employment, and training so that they become self-sufficient. Each outcome has a set of key performance indicators and associated targets. These outcomes include, and in summary, identifying and increasing production of occupations in high demand, linking education and the workplace, because there's no other way within which we're going to make a success of our skills development program if there is a disjuncture between our education system and our workplace. In fact, these should be one element. And this was the vision when the then president integrated higher education and training under one department to ensure that we link our education institutions and our workplace. The third and crucial outcome also includes improving the level of skills in the South African workforce. Also, as part of the outcomes, the increasing of access to occupationally directed programs. Many of our TVET colleges have committed to work with civil society and the private sector in order to increase the uptake of their occupational program, particularly those that are funded by the National Skills Fund. Support the growth of the public college system, as I indicated quite emphatically earlier on, and I believe that this will be one of the ways within which we will revolutionize both our skills program and our education's program. The fact that our university system is bigger than our TVET college system is an anomaly. Nothing that can be seen anywhere in the world. If you go to any economy that takes itself seriously in terms of skills programs, in terms of the direction within which they want their economy to go to, the TVET sector is always bigger than the university system. And I think that we have to address this. It's, of course, an issue of attitudes. It's an issue of historical perceptions about the role of TVET colleges, but also the investment that we're putting into TVET colleges will help us to improve the nature and character and how South Africans view TVET colleges. And I hope that you will join us in ensuring that we change that particular perceptions. And part of the outcomes, at outcome 6, includes skills development support for entrepreneurship and cooperative development, and the 7th outcome being the encouragement and support of worker-initiated training programs, and finally the support for career development services as being one of the crucial outcomes. Now, the National Skills Development Plan also sets out the institutional arrangements for SETAs with a more pointed emphasis on good governance, sound management, better efficiency, and greater impact. Social partners will continue to play an active role, amongst others, in SETA accounting authorities and in the National Skills Authority. Gone are the days when SETA's role will be to tick boxes, will be to count numbers, without us understanding the substance and impact of the numbers which they are reporting to us. And we really want to have outcomes that are linked not only to those particular numbers, but also outcomes that are linked to impact, and be able to track the people who come out of the SETA training programs throughout their career pathing. Social partners remain at the heart of the National Skills Development Plan, and allow me to conclude by reminding us of the National Skills Accord 2011, where parties agreed, and I quote, "Action and implementation should be the hallmark of the partnership, with constituencies identifying areas they can make firm commitments, as well as identifying actions that other constituencies will need to undertake, close quote. If we're to revolutionize our skills development programs and our education system, we need all of you and all hands on deck. Thank you very much for listening.